welcome here to more TALKFCB and welcome back to the channel, guys. And I'm sitting here waiting right now for the Ballon d'Or ceremony to get underway. I've got a few hours to spare. So what I thought we would do today is look into some of those tactics that we saw from Xavi on Saturday against Villarreal, and especially the man-to-man marking method that he used with Eric Garcia, the strange positions that we saw Garcia take up, and why, in my opinion, it did not work. All of the analysis, it's coming right up. So let's get to it. Because the first thing that I do want to say here about this positioning of Eric Garcia, about the tactics that we saw from Xavi, it's very, very important to remember here that Xavi coming in as the Barca coach, he's a young coach. He is somebody here, whilst his team is still learning, while his team is still growing in terms of those younger players, he too, as a coach, is still very young. He is still very new on the scene, and he's going to be trying things. He's going to be looking at what works, what doesn't. He's going to be learning all the time. And of course, to learn, you often do need to make a mistake or two along the way. And I think this particular tactic, used in this way, it didn't really work out for him against Villarreal. And this is why. Because as you can see right here, this is how Xavi lined up against Villarreal on Saturday. I think overall, it was a pretty good team selection. The midfield looks really, really good there. I was happy to see Abde getting a start on the right wing, and Barca started the game really, really well, of course. But the big dilemma was, where exactly is Eric Garcia playing? Because from the start, we thought maybe it might be a 3 at the back, but it turned out to be that Garcia primarily was playing at right back. And the question would be, why was that anyway? Because yes, Mingueza was available, but you would probably say that in that right-back role, he hasn't been convincing. Maybe Xavi was looking for something different, to try something else. Dest was also on the bench. Whether he was fully fit, we still don't really know. So Xavi there was basically working with what he had, and the experiment was Garcia as the right back. Which means, as you can see right here, Garcia was taking up that right back position. He had a winger to mark from Villarreal, who was sort of playing here with 3 forwards, although Dan Yuma was down the middle, Jeremy Pino was on the right-hand side, and this over here was Moi Gomez. And on the face of it, that looked there like a challenge that Eric Garcia could go into, that he could maybe stand his own against a player like Moi Gomez. But it was interesting, because what Xavi seemed to have instructed Eric Garcia was to do was wherever Moi Gomez went, Eric Garcia, he followed him. So that meant here, if he stayed very, very wide, Eric Garcia would go and match that there. Wherever he went, he would be right there, very, very tight to him. And what happened was, Moi Gomez used his intelligence, because he's not the best player ever. I don't even think he's the best player on Villarreal's team, actually quite far from it. But every time there, when he realised what was going on with Eric Garcia, he started there to step inside. He started there to go nice and narrow, and instead then of one of our centre-back, whether it be Piqué, whether it be Araujo, maybe Busquets would drop in, instead of one of those picking him up, Eric Garcia still, even when he went in there, he would go and follow him. So actually at times in that game, throughout that first half, what we actually saw was Garcia completely vacating that right-back role, going and standing in alongside Sergio Busquets. And the problem then was what you were asking Abde to do. Because as you can see right here, number 33, Abde, was out on that right-hand side, and he was coming up against, and this is significant, Pedraza, the number 24 for Villarreal, the left-back. And the problem was that Pedraza is an extremely attack-minded left-back. So you knew that when Moi Gomez went in here and Eric Garcia then followed him, which was exactly what Moi Gomez wanted. He wanted to drag Eric Garcia out. Pedraza, he was more than happy here to explode into all of that space. And I think it was a lot of pressure here on a young player like Abde, who was constantly trying to fight back and battle back there. And he was often ending up as the right wing-back. And that was something that really didn't make sense to me, because Abde wanted to explore all of this space here, but actually he was rooted to a defensive position because of the intelligence of Moi Gomez, dragging Garcia in there, and Pedraza then coming out wide and making sure that Abde was left back with him. And I think what made it even more strange as well is the fact that in the first 10 minutes, 15 minutes of the game, we started really well. Abde wasn't back here. He was actually attacking more Villarreal's half, running at their defence, causing problems. And then suddenly, with this Eric Garcia move, there was a big shift, and suddenly then when it was Villarreal who were getting on the ball, who were dominating territorially here, pushing us back, making us really retreat and play in our own half, which is a Barcelona team you don't want to do. That's not the way that you want to play. And Xavi, he knows that very, very well. And I was trying to understand why he did this. I was trying to understand what the end goal was. And the only possible conclusion that I can come to here is that Xavi was almost at some stage of that game there, almost inviting Villarreal there onto us, almost trying to lull them into a false sense of security. And I think that Xavi here, by deploying Eric Garcia into this kind of man-marking role, he was hoping that when that ball there went into Moi Gomez, he was banking on Pedraza, gambling, really pushing up here on this left-hand side. Abde is a player, has a lot of pace, and I think he was hoping that Eric Garcia could win that ball back first of all, intercept that at source with Moi Gomez, and then Xavi was hoping that we could really exploit Villarreal here with that explosive pace of Abde down this right-hand side. But I think the problem was, number one, Eric Garcia didn't really get close to Moi Gomez. He was tracking him, he was following him, but he didn't actually have a good game. He didn't really seem to enjoy this role, and he didn't get any of those interceptions. And the only times that he did get the ball, the passing wasn't there. He didn't really pick out Abde. There was a lot of balls that went into that area, but they fell short, they went out of play, and I just think that in a game like this, it was a big risk from Xavi. It was something different to what we've seen at Barcelona, and I just think there, it was a mixture of the wrong time, the wrong opponent to use it against there with Pedraza, how good he is at overlapping with a young player like Abde who had to track him, and I think number two, the player that he did it with. I think Eric Garcia, like I say, didn't play well against Villarreal. He didn't really seem to have the characteristics to play that kind of role, and it simply did not work out. But we can laugh about it now. We can smile about it now because we won the game. But of course what we want to see from Xavi is some realisation that, you know what? That one didn't work out. I know for future now, in my mind, I've seen it over a course of a game. That one, I can scratch that off the list. And that's what I mean here about a young coach like Xavi coming in. He's going to have things that work for him, things that don't. And over the course of his time here, he is going to grow. He is going to improve. He is going to learn a lot about management and the players that he has at his disposal. I think now he'll have a better understanding of what Eric Garcia can do, and certainly what Eric Garcia cannot do. So please, guys, do let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. I had some free time, like I say, so I just thought I'd share there a few thoughts on that particular tactic from Xavi, because it was something there that on Saturday caused a lot of discussion, a lot of debate, and like I say, all we want to see from our coach, and indeed the players, is learning, is improving, and understanding what really gets the best out of this team. We are making progress, and we are moving forward. But I think in future, let's try and stay away from dragging Eric Garcia all over the pitch. Let me know those thoughts down below, guys. Thank you indeed for watching and for supporting, of course. I will see you later for the Ballon d'Or on the main channel. But until next time, as always, Visca El Barça.